Hey guys, this is Braden. Figured I would answer a few questions I get in my comments. And of course, play my guitar a little bit. I guess the first one I'll talk about is why my music is not on Spotify. And by the way, I'm a big Charles Mingus fan. I play jazz guitar for the most part, even though you guys probably know me for stuff that sounds a little bit different from that. That was Peggy's Blue Skylight, a great Charles Mingus tune. I love Charles Mingus, but my music not being on Spotify. There we go. I have not put my music on Spotify for the fact that it is not a very profitable option in a lot of ways. Spotify and other streaming services are kind of cool in the sense that like they've opened up a lot of doors for artists that don't have labels. I don't have a label. I'm 17. I've barely gotten my name out there. But they've also limited a lot of like options for professional musicians because Spotify doesn't pay their creators. YouTube is a little bit better, and I'll get into that. But it's just not very profitable to put music on Spotify. It's cool because as a songwriter, we all have this dream of or most of us, I feel like, have this dream of being like the background music to people's lives, or not the background music, but being just like the soundtrack to someone's life. That's just something really cool. That's a level of like songwriting that not a lot of people achieve. And I feel like being on Spotify puts you one step closer to that in some ways, because then your music is just very easily accessible to lots of people. But like I said, it's just not very profitable. And YouTube is better about paying their creators. You see the big channels, and those people make good amounts of money. You don't see a lot of people just putting their music on or really anybody putting their music on Spotify and just calling it good and saying, I'm able to make a living off of this, because that's not how it works. Spotify does not pay artists. But anyways, I wanted to get into another question, which is how I write my riffs. And I see this a lot in like my Midwest emo and math rock videos. I guess I just find little sounds that sound cool and work from a music theory perspective, and I just run with it. It's that simple. Like, this one's not math rock or Midwest emo, but I like to take chord progressions. I'm big on chord progressions and chord theory. And so I'll just find different ways to make chords sound interesting. Like for instance, for this riff, I decided to find open chord voicings that were basically jazz chords. That's an E minor 9. But lots of songs use that open like E minor add 9 sound. That's cool too, but like to my ear, it just sounds really cool to have the 7th in there and not just the 9th, not just an E minor add 9. That's just a really pretty sound to me, and it caught my ear and I ran with it. Same thing with like when I was writing an arrangement for Blue and Green, one of my favorite jazz standards. I love Bill Evans. He's awesome, just like Charles Mingus. Anyways, you get the gist of it. But the cool thing is that you can voice that first chord, which is a B major 7 sharp 11. Very just very interesting. It sounds so much prettier like that than like this, in my opinion. It just resonates in a little bit different way. Your open strings do, and gives a really almost ethereal feel to the piece. Bill Evans was a genius. it pisses me off because Miles Davis has credit for that in the real book. So he's like the one who's going to go down as like the writer of that. When if you listen to the tune and like just like all the facts point to like, hey, Bill Evans wrote this tune. And I mean, Miles Davis was to a certain degree notorious for like stealing other people's work. But yeah, I love Blue and Green, and I love Bill Evans, a really phenomenal writer and piano player. Let's see. I guess I'll talk a little bit about my musical background a little bit. I'm 17. I've played in orchestra. I'm a string bass player. I play a couple different instruments. Even, I've not really showed that on my channel, but I do. I really love to play jazz and Midwest emo, and I kind of like to combine them sometimes, and that's how I write my songs. I've been playing guitar since I was 10, so I've been playing for about 7 years now. That's the instrument that I've really stuck with the longest. I think I've played violin for a little bit longer, but I don't play violin anymore, so I don't count that. I'm really big on music theory, and this is kind of a random one, but that's how I feel like my songs just kind of, like, you don't see a lot of guitarists that use a lot of theory. And I'm thinking about genuinely writing a book after I get a degree, because, nobody's going to listen to me now when I'm 17. But trust me, I'm on to something when I say this. Modes are taught in a way that are simply just inaccessible to your average musician, where modes are really cool concept, and they are really helpful, but nothing, when it comes to teaching music theory, nothing's ever been about practical application. It's all been around memorize this crap. And that frustrates me. Where when I taught myself music theory, and I learned things that I learned a lot, but I mainly, I learned things and figured things out to be practically used. One concept that I use a lot is what I call modal cliches, or I don't know, they'd probably call them hypermodes or something like that if you were to get complicated with it, but it's unnecessary. Like, for instance, one of these modal cliches, as I call them, is combining the Dorian scale and the blues scale. The blues scale has a flat 5. These are both based off of the minor scale, or your Aeolian scale. But the blues scale has your flat 5. We're going to play in B minor. And the Dorian scale has a sharp 6. So I'll just play a couple licks and just give you an idea of what the sound of the scale is. Works really well over a Dorian vamp or a 2.5. And I mean, let's face it, 2.5s are still everywhere in jazz compositions. But it kind of gives me almost Latin vibes. It kind of sounds like Carlos Santana to a certain degree. Probably because I believe he uses that a lot in his solos in Oyo Como Va. That's very much a Dorian vamp. But I guess I'll leave you guys with a little riff I wrote, and I guess I'll end the video here. If you guys like what I did here, then let me know in the comments or whatever. And I might post more of this stuff where I just talk about music, play a little bit of guitar. It could be totally not entertaining, but I did want to answer a couple of these questions. But anyways, here's my little riff.